Hello and welcome to The Good, the Bad and the Worst, a podcast where we normally watch movie trilogies. Tonight, though, I'm your host, Griner, and joining me are my Michael A. Jordan and my Michael B. Jordan, Conan and Luke. Boys, tonight we're covering Sinners because we all went and saw it, and the internet really needs to know what three white guys think of a Ryan Coogler film.
Exactly.
Luke, Sinners, were you looking forward to this movie? Did you have any expectations heading in?
No, so this movie actually kind of flew under the radar completely for me until release, where I think maybe I'd seen a trailer for it at one of the movies we reviewed, and I was like, oh, that looks cool, but never really thought about it again. I remember there was going to be a movie coming out with Michael B. Jordan playing two versions of himself, like, brothers or something like that, but didn't realize it was this movie until I went and saw this movie. But really, it was just the reception. Like, this seemed to come out of nowhere for me, and everyone was talking about it all of a sudden, and I didn't know much about it, but the premise a little bit from what I could see, I was like, this sounds really interesting, and I need to go see this with my boys, so yeah.
Conan, you're our resident expert on horror. What was your expectations leading up to this movie?
On all black cinema. Yeah, like I know I knew this was coming. This trailer had been playing a fair bit, and Ryan Coogler's name carries weight, and the trailer, made that clear. I was like, Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, and the trailer gives, as all trailers do now, gives too much away. I was thinking that when I saw it, I was like, man, I wish I hadn't seen it, because going into this blind would be so much better. But yeah, I was super stoked. It was the movie that I was like, it was the first the first original movie that I'm super keen to see. And that kind of, I guess, the beginning of the year was the first movie that I was like, that's really what I'm waiting for. There was all the rollover stuff from the 2024 Oscar season that I was seeing and catching up on. But otherwise, it was really just like, yeah, this and that until Sinners. It was like, that's kind of going to be it. And I was kind of expecting, it's, as the whole industry is, seeing it's being used as a litmus test to see where the industry's at right now. And that was kind of how I had it in my mind. I was like, if this movie's big, then there's hope for us yet. If this movie flops, then we're going to die. Because it's kind of like the Furiosa of this year, like a visionary director, some sort of familiarity at least. And I was like, if this is huge, then, yeah, good on us. And Furiosa died in the ass. And this is not. This is having long legs, which is really good news.
Just a side note, then I just wanted to touch on it. So, as little as I knew about this movie going into it, my wife knew even less. Like, she hadn't heard of it, seen of it. She's kind of an offline person when it comes to movies, so she hadn't heard anything about reception for it. But as soon as I came out, I was like, okay, you need to go watch this movie. Didn't tell her anything about it. I basically pitched it as it's called Singers. It's about, people who like to sing. And that was just
swingers. We
just the joy in my mind of her sitting there starting to watch this movie, and that first jump scare that happens in the church, just scaring the crap out of her, which apparently it really much did. Gave me great satisfaction. So I was like, absolutely, don't look anything up before you go watch this movie. So. Yeah,
nice. Yeah. Like you guys, I had seen the trailer a couple of times. Did spoil things, but the idea of a new vampire movie where they're not sparkly and they're not, it seems like traditional vampires. That seemed I was keen for that, and I think I think we get that. It delivered.
Yeah, just like the genre mix up, right? Like 1930s Louisiana slavery mixed with vampires. This is what movies are all about. Just genre mashups and genre things. And like, vampires in a cool setting, and it's different, it's unique. And it's like, you see in the trailer, you see Michael B. Jordan in the suit and there's Zoe Vamps, like, shit, yeah. It's like, that's all I need.
Somehow I missed that he was like playing two characters in this movie. Like, that, I don't know. I didn't pay enough attention to the trailer, obviously. I specifically tried to not look anything up after I had seen the trailer.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, that totally went over my head. And at first I was like, it's him in both, isn't it? I'm not that racist that I think they all look the same. Am I? Like,
is there a Michael A. Jordan?
So I was briefly confused.
Like, my whole thing, because I don't remember them being two of them in the trailer, but like, that's the thing, I didn't even really remember the trailer, is I just remember like there was speculation that was his brother going to be played by Jonathan Mayers before he got cancelled and all this sort of stuff. Conan, is Ryan Coogler, is this his first horror film?
Yes, first horror film, first original film, first
Yeah.
non-IP film. Like this is really kind of like a big landmark in his career because
Mm.
like all around his name the rhetoric has been like, we know he's going to be one of the generation's greats. He's going to be one of the ones that everyone looks back and be like, the top 10 directors of the generation, his name will be there. But this is the movie that was like, this makes or breaks him, because he's had before this Fruitvale Station, which was based on a true story. As like a very quiet indie drama piece. He had Creed. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Creed, obviously very important. Rocky, one of the biggest franchises ever. And then he had Black Panthers. So he's only done 4 movies. 3 of them are incredibly well-known IP things. But yeah, this is his first foray. It's like a different genre. It is entirely unique. It's written, directed solely by him, or at least he's the major one in it. Yeah, solely by him. And yeah, he's working with some of the same people. But yeah, this is like him on screen, and yeah, like wow,
Knocked it out of the park.
Knocked it out of the park. Yep.
Before we get into the movie, I do just want to touch on setting the scene for our session that we went to, Grana and I. Here we were on a Saturday thinking that maybe we were lucky enough on like one of the first days Sinners was screening that we would be able to watch it just us two alone in the cinema. However, right before the movie started, 2 young kids that I'm not really sure how they got in, because these kids wouldn't have been older than 11 years old. Both came in together. Grant and I sighed. We were like, great. And I was kind of expecting these kids to chicken jockey it, because the second they're in there, they're on their bright screen phones. They're giggling together, making comments, making like incel racist comments the second the movie starts, where me and Grant were just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And they were sitting 2 rows in front of us. But I just want to put it out there. Man, did Griner get his dad on and put these kids in their place to the point I almost stood up and clapped. It was great, because they were taking photos of the phone, of the screen with the
flash on.
And Griner,
I just couldn't.
What the F are you 2 kids doing? Turn your effing phones off. What the F is wrong with you? And these kids just slumped down in their chair, and I'm just sitting there, I was like, oh my God, this is great. So
something had to be done. Show some decorum in a cinema. I don't want to be that cranky old guy that's like, don't chicken jockey in my cinema. But it's a horror movie. There's hardly anyone in here. Put your phones away or leave. Why are you even in here? I was very frustrated. The other thing to say about that, though, is we had planned to go to a 9 p.m. showing, and 2 hours beforehand, Luke texted me, they've cancelled the 9 p.m. showing, can you go at 2? I don't really want to see a horror movie at 2 in the afternoon, but we'll just have to do this, I guess.
Yeah.
So they cancelled. So this movie's getting no love in Inverell.
It was opening night. So as in, we were planning on going Friday night opening, and then it was Friday during the day. I checked the session times again, and the session times were just completely different. They had moved things around where they're like, oh, you know what? We need Minecraft to be our 9 o'clock showing. That's going to do us the best business.
I actually think they cancelled the 9 o'clock showings. I don't think they had any. Yes. Okay. To be fair, it was the Easter long weekend.
Yeah.
Of course,
and I think potentially it was a wages.
Our little local cinema, maybe.
Wages versus me and Luke being the only ones in the cinema is probably not worth it at 9 o'clock at night. But
there's a good chance it may have just been us 2 at the 9 o'clock Sinners on a Friday night in Inverell, in our town, but who knows? So, yeah.
But speaking of box office, shall we read some stats?
Absolutely. Stats.
All right, so released a week ago, $90 million budget, has so far grossed worldwide $121 million.
Woo! Profit.
$90 million in the US and Canada alone. So I think it's doing pretty well. My understanding is it wasn't a wide release in the US either. It was, for some reason, somewhat limited on the screens it was showing on.
I guess the horror is more limited than other genres.
I think there was some reasoning behind it. I should have probably looked this up a little bit more, but yeah, my understanding, my 2 seconds of research says it wasn't on every screen. Metacritic score of 84. I think it's pretty high on Rotten Tomatoes, right? In the 90s.
Yeah.
Doing well.
As in, it was 100% for the first 60 reviews. I haven't checked on it in a while, but it would be 98, 97, I would assume, because it held 100 for a long time. But The discourse around this movie's box office draw was very interesting online for the first few days because I think it was Variety put out a thing where they really pitched
Yeah.
it in a negative way, which, they won't talk about other movies negatively, like The Accountant 2, where they're like, it's earned 20 million at the box office. But like for some reason, they put a negative spin on how well this did on its opening weekend. And there was this huge online backlash against the way they worded that thing where since then, everything Variety's put out about this has been very positive about Sinners, being like, oh, the great success that Sinners has had. So I think that PR person got fired, whoever wrote that original article.
Yeah.
But
It was kind of like spearheaded in a lot of ways by Ben Stiller because he put that
he called him out on it.
Yeah, he's like, in what world does this result warrant this kind of headline? And there's a lot of interesting stuff around that. Like there is speculation about like was it a hit piece? What's going on with it? Because it seems so uncharacteristic for like Variety, for which is it's a trades magazine in a lot of ways, and so for it to be like this success is not a success is like what's going on? And then there's all this like cloak and dagger of like Warner Brothers have made a pretty weird deal with Coogler with this movie. Like in 25 years, Coogler will retain the rights to it, which is kind of almost unheard of. Like Tarantino got that deal once upon a time in Hollywood. And I think it's kind of it. It's like, this does not happen in the industry, like directors, writers do not get to retain rights to their stuff. And so for him, and he also had, I think like, he has first reward or something. I can't remember what it is, but like he basically sees a lot of the money in a better way than he would normally. Like basically, it's a seller's market here. He has just got this incredibly good deal for this. He's making money. He's getting all these credits. He is going to retain rights. And Warner Brothers, a pretty big industry, a pretty big studio, is you could argue, and some people have been arguing that they're getting kind of screwed over in a way. And there's like been a lot of hand wringing about, is this the death of the studio system? Because if they can't retain rights and do this, then how will studios make money? And so there is like compelling evidence that
anybody think of the billionaire.
That's part of it, right? It's like the CEOs are getting $600 million bonuses. It's like, oh man, yeah, they need it. And so there's this interesting thing is like and I think there was something else like I should have done more research as well, but like I don't know if they marketed it through Variety or something. And so there is this speculation of like, was this weird targeted hit piece of this movie could undermine the business of studios raking creatives over the coals for profit? Because Coogler is kind of coming back and be like, no, my name matters. You have to give me what I want. And if it does well, that will set a standard potentially for other filmmakers to be like, this is our deal. Because that Variety piece just reeks. It's like, what is going on here?
They've definitely backflipped since then. Like, because it was very much worded as in like well, it's great. It's had a good opening weekend. They would need to make this to be profitable, which is unlikely.
It's no Marvel film.
It's really this like compared to Avengers, it really hasn't made much money. But they've definitely flipped, and it seems like it does have good legs. Where I think the second weekend drop off was less than 10%, which is kind of huge for a second weekend.
Yeah.
I saw an article earlier, so really impressive and well deserved, really.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like highest grossing like not indie movie, but highest grossing like non-IP, non-sequel, non-whatever movie in years. And like Warner Brothers they've got the two highest grossing movies with this and Minecraft at the moment, ever since I think 2009 with Avatar and Alvin and the Chipmunks. And so it's this weird like. It's like Warner Brothers is still making back. Like, let's not think that Warner Brothers is not making money here.
But wasn't it also had something of like the first A+ cinema score for a horror film in like 25 years or something like that? I'd seen as well.
Yeah, like
so
it's clear.
Like Get Out was like A- or something. So cinema score.
Yeah, it's breaking soft records. Not any real record, but like this movie's setting milestones.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting it to do Avengers numbers, right? Like you can't. It would be weird to expect it to break those hard records, but it's good. I'm really happy to see it's doing well.
Same.
Let's just break the movie down. Do you want a synopsis? Here we go. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting for them to welcome them back.
What's the evil? Is it
What evil is it?
is it some sort of supernatural? Is
if
it
you
the
want-
white man?
Is it? Is it their histories?
Is it all? Is it none?
Man, this movie from the start, whew, I could watch like The Adventures of Smokestack.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could watch that movie.
100%.
I don't even need the horror part. Just give me Smokestack
Show me
tearing
their
up
adventures in
Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's the thing. Like, there's this movie feels like, you know, it's in different segments where I enjoyed all the segments, like, you know, on their own as a whole thing. But like that whole aspect where they first go into the towns, you know, he shoots him in the ass as he's trying to rob his car, and like just them wheeling and dealing, selling their show to people like on the side of the street and stuff like that. That was so entertaining. I really enjoyed that, like that vibe of it. Obviously, then it takes a turn that night. Things go a bit downhill, and you don't see so much of it. But it's just everything from the outset. And I touched on earlier, the jump scare at the very start, like at the very opening of the movie, I feel like everybody, because nobody's expecting it just out of nowhere as this dude's walking in the church. But I was hooked from this movie from the get-go. And like I said, I didn't know much about it. I just sort of like, okay, I think there's vampires in it. That's basically my thing. What an original, like, enthralling movie. I loved this movie so much that I feel like I haven't shut up about it since I came out of it. Like, I got home, I was like, telling my wife, I was like, you need to go see this movie just so I can talk to you about this movie. I feel like both of us messaged Conan. Even I thought, Conan, you would be going to see this movie, but I was like, dude, have you seen it yet? Like, can we talk about this movie? We're doing this podcast simply because I was like, oh, I want to talk about this movie with you guys, you know? Like, it was such a delight to go to like the cinemas and watch something original and just, yeah, no, it was thrilling. It really was.
Yeah, I guess I'll make 2 points. So I want to touch on, like, you're right, the whole sort of first act, I guess, of like them going through town and talking to people and meeting people. It's just like it's an incredible pleasure to see something that mechanically has to work, because, you know, this movie has to exposition dump a lot of stuff. It has to explain who they are, why they've been gone, who are these characters, what are their relationships, what are they doing, what do they need to do, why their stakes and consequences, all this stuff that's very easily mishandled and could very easily seem bad. But just in its setting and the way he does it, it just feels so not only natural, but it just feels so fun. It's like these guys are walking through and they just got swagger, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
who are these guys? And they're like, you remember me? And everyone sort of knows them, and so they have a couple of comments of backstories, where you've been, what are you doing? And it's just like, it feels right and natural. It's like, yeah, that is what you would talk about, and that's what's going on. And so you learn all about these characters and the plot and the setting and the themes. And it's like, you know, this is kind of like almost a perfect example of how to write that stuff.
Yeah, and it doesn't belabor the point on the things that you probably should understand, right? Like, it doesn't go deep into like, oh, these guys are all KKK and they're selling them this place and they're going to rob them again. Like, it's kind of almost understood when they buy it off them that this is, you know, a dodgy deal and they're not really getting what they're paying for. But then you get all these, like, the little details of them being like World War I veterans and stuff. Like, you get all that so early on, and it's not belabored, but it's just, you pick up on it as you go, and it's just feels so good. Like, you feel really invested in these two characters so quickly.
Absolutely, because like they tap on the whole, they've been in Chicago, and then you'll learn they were running with Al Capone, but you're like, maybe they were running with Al Capone. It's not known fact. It's like a story. And so you already sort of know, okay, these guys they're like local myths almost. And it's like, how much of this is bullshit? Why are they coming back? And then like you learn they might have robbed a gin joint, and so that's why they've got all this alcohol. And it's like, I know that's it's such a cool way to drip feed you information and never sort of explicitly give it to you, so you can decide what it is. And the point is not even if they did work for Al Capone. The point is these guys are badasses who have a history, and like, and, you know, that's not even with reading into all the racial subtext that this movie is dripping in. That I don't know, we could talk about for hours, but I don't think we need to, because the most important point of this movie is just how fucking cool and sexy this movie is. Holy shit! Like, I came in, Luke, as you said, like, seeing something thrilling and new. I went into this, I was excited. I sat down, and from the first moment with him puttering along the street in the church, and then, yeah, it's just like, this is kind of like the Bayou, and it's Louisiana, and it's just the coolest fucking guys you've ever seen, wearing great suits, cool accents, like, just great banter.
Distinguishing coloured hats to tell the brothers apart, just like little things, like, Yep.
and they're just like playing great blues music, and it's just
Mm.
it's beautifully shot, and it's like this is what you want when like you think something's cool. When you think of someone who's cool, like the coolest guy walks in the room, he's like, I just want to know him, I want to hang out with him.
I get that a
Yeah,
lot.
that's
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like just pure style, just yeah, like you just want to know more, you just want to be there because like this is the coolest person I've ever met. And by just being in their presence, I'm going to absorb some of that, I guess. That's what this movie is. Every single choice is cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like everyone just looks sexy, even though they're all sweaty because it's the South and it's
And they've been
humid
working
as
in a
all get
field
out.
all day, right? Like,
Working
Dirty,
across the-
smelly, like no showers, but it doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But it's just yeah, I was just blown away. I was like, what a great time. Like you could honestly cut all the racial stuff in the subtext, and this movie would still be kick ass. It just works as a really fun vampire siege romp
Hmm.
movie, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like
Yeah.
elevated to a whole other level with all the other stuff it explores, which is like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's the kind of thing like being cool is an effortless thing. You can't manufacture that.
No.
yes.
It's like, and this is what kind of what Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan could do. They're just effortlessly cool, and it's like, holy shit, just such style and like amazing
And
to watch.
I shouldn't have questioned him, but like at the start of the movie where I sort of remembered, or you see that Michael B. Jordan is playing two characters. I had a moment where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this because I was like, I don't like when this happens in movies because I'm always trying to look at the strings. I'm always trying to be
Yes.
like, okay, how have they done this scene where there's a Passover, or like, have they animated his face on this? Are they combining two? I'm always just like trying to. 2 minutes in, like it took like two lines of dialogue of them interacting with each other before I'd forgotten about it, and I was like, he's Michael A. Jordan, like he does have a brother. And I just bought it because like he was so good in this movie, and I feel like everybody in this movie delivers. Like I feel like anybody you point to had a standout performance where they almost were all fighting over like eating up the screen. Like the vampires themselves are so charismatic to the
Yep.
point that like you. Man, and the music's so good. Like I've been listening to that Irish jig for a week now, and I'm just like, oh man, I'll join him. Yeah, give me a little bite on the neck. I'd join him. Like whatever. I don't mind a little bit of drool. Do it. Whatever. But it's just this movie has so much style, and I think style is the right like word for it, like and pizzazz, and it's got the Riz.
The
For
Rizzler would
everyone,
love this
the
movie.
Rizzler. This is the Rizzler's movie.
Yeah, you mentioned the soundtrack, Luke. Like it just is. I don't know how people do this, but the way it fits this movie, like this driving blues soundtrack that's over most of the first act, and it continues on, but it fits the movie so well, and it gives this movie a real pace. I feel like as well. Like I don't feel like there's any fat on this movie. Like this movie, I don't know. I think it's
No.
really, really well put together. It's paced incredibly well, and I think the music just fits so well with that as well. That, like, you're right, we get this really cool opening, this really cool act one, and it's just like it's such an info dump, but it's so paced so well that you're just I don't know. I was just hooked to it. I like give me more about these characters because I'm enjoying this so much.
One of those rare movies where it's like the ending almost feels rushed, where like with the showdown and the siege, which is kind of the main point of the movie you're waiting for, or you're
Don't want it to
expecting at least.
end.
Yeah, like I was like, this movie could actually be 3 hours, and I reckon they would
Yep.
make it good because you could just expand and build and play out the tension, and it all kind of comes to it. But then it's like, but what we got is really neat and tidy and works better because you're left wanting more,
Yeah.
But yeah, the soundtrack, like Ludwig Göransson, is
My
kind
boy.
of I don't know, kind of like the MVP. Like, is he the best composer working right now? I don't know. Maybe he's easily the
Oppenheimer
top.
is incredible.
That's what I mean. Like, he's in that level. He's like that Hans Zimmer is in. Like, he's in that orbit. He's one of the greats
Yep.
now. Yeah, just the way the way the music works is like, yeah, it knows exactly what it is. It never tries to get on one wavelength and stay with that. It is authentic, but it's sporadic as well. Like you've got all the great blues music, but then you've got this great folk music. But then you've got moments like when it's first shown or revealed, like the vampires, there is this cut to like hardcore metal. There's just like this metal doom drop, and it's like it's anachronistic, but who gives a shit? This movie is about vampires. Like you don't need to be time period essential for this because there's fantasy in it. But it's like that's the mood, right? This is a vampire movie. You want it to be metal.
Yeah.
And he knows that. It's like, yeah, I'll give you everything that needs to be here to create the proper feeling.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that is truly an art form. And so, and in a movie that's music is so much more of a key point than I thought it would be. Like, I was not
Hmm.
expecting this movie to be so blues heavy and so sort of concerned with music and what that role plays in a society and with a people group and with a culture. But like, if you misstep, if that was poorly done or poorly handled, it would detract so much more. But like
No.
the
What
song
they
that Preacher
do with
Boy
music
writes,
is so powerful. Like it's
yeah, like
done so superbly.
Yeah.
incredibly, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to talk about that about music without talking about that scene, right? Like the scene where he performs his song for everyone, and everybody's transported through time, and we get
Yep.
glimpses of the future, glimpses of the past, of these other racial groups and their music and their culture intertwining with it. Just I
Yeah,
don't know,
what-
so good in my opinion. Could be so schlocky in the hands of a lesser director.
Yep.
Amazing though. It's like just I don't know. Every review I saw about this, every discussion I saw about this, they were talking about that scene,
100%.
and that scene like it just stuck with me too.
It's the first thing my wife mentioned when she got home. Like, just she's a huge music lover, and she said she got goosebumps during that scene. It's just, and you're right. On paper, that could be done really bad. You know what I mean? Like on paper, you could describe that scene, and people could be like, "Oh, that would take me out of it a bit." Like, but it's done. It's done so well in this movie, and it's. You think of all the stuff that happens in this, and it is a standout scene that you remember when the movie finishes, like ends.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Yeah, there's the moment you see like are we full spoiling this? Or are we
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
not to
Yes,
tell-
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Sorry. Jeez, okay.
Vampires.
Yeah, like because you see like the future guitarist come in with this kind of like shiny techno stuff, and there is a moment where you kind of like I laughed and I'm like, what the fuck is this? But
Yeah.
then it's like, but in almost an instant that sort of settles. You're like, because you're transported with it. You're like, oh no, I am watching music in its truest artistic purpose, which
Yep.
is to like touch this transcendent sort of
Connection.
the connection and like this realm beyond us of like I don't know, like that's what art does, right? Art connects people, and it sort of it is a voice, and it speaks and is like understanding of something about the human condition beyond ourselves, and that's why we have art that we connect with from 2,000 years ago and all this stuff.
Language
And there's
of
like
the
a
soul.
totally is like it is this. Yeah, it sounds wanky, but it is truly this transcendent experience. And there is a moment where you're like, "This is lame," but then you're like, "No, wait, I'm there with it because the music's so fucking good." And just I was in awe of the practicality of it. Like, how do you film that scene? The camera just moves in
Yep.
and out, and people disappear and reappear.
Yeah.
And like maybe there's probably some fancy editing, but I'm like, I think this is probably just incredibly well staged and choreographed and like rehearsed of like you have to appear there at this time and you have to go here and the camera's got to move here. And I was just like, not only is it thematically astounding, but I'm like, this is the kind of I don't know, it's like there's like the long shots in Children of Men that are still talked about 20 years later of like he upped the ante and he changed the game. And this is the kind of thing of like for you to be able to sort of put this onto film, this only works in movies, this kind of scene.
Yep.
And to be able to execute it flawlessly is one of those joys, like those truest joys of going to the movies and being like, that's why we do it. That's why we love it.
This is one of those movies where I'll be keen to see like the behind the scenes of like I want to hear about his inspiration for this scene. I want to see the rig that he uses and the direction that's used to like weave in and out of these people and hide them and make them appear and like just so well done. You're right. Like one of those scenes I think I'll talk about for a while.
Like that scene and this movie really has sort of now put Ryan Coogler up there for me where now, like you touched on it earlier, Conan, where you were saying like, oh, his name carries value, which is why it's doing well as well. But I didn't really feel that way around Ryan Coogler. Obviously, I enjoyed Black Panther. Forever was kind of a disappointing movie, I think in most people's eyes. Creed, we reviewed them. Check out our review. Really enjoyed those movies, but it wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait to see what Ryan Coogler does next. But now I'm like, I can't wait to see what he does next. Like next time a new movie's announced by him, especially if he's cooperating with the same people and everything like that, I'm there day one. It's one of them things now where this movie impressed me so much. I can't wait to see what he can do, and I would think studio execs are going to give him what he wants. Like he can demand a bit more now, hopefully. So
Yeah, like, and all the greats sort of do this, right? Like Tarantino works with the same team and the same sort of group of people. Fincher works with the
Mm.
same group of people. Nolan works with his people. Like, all these sort of true auteurs have like their team and their people that they work with because they know they work well, and they're synchronized, and that's what he did. Like, he's worked with the same sort of group on all of these movies, and so it's like he's doing all the things that all the greats have historically done. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. He's on track. Like, he's ticking all the boxes. There's kind of no way he doesn't become one of the next truly great voices.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, would you guys? Granny said before you wanted to see smokestack movies, like coming out left, right, and center. Do you? Because there is a stinger at the end of this
Hmm.
that really opens the door for franchise possibility. Now, I don't know if that's his plan. Do you guys want that for it? Like, do you want this to become a, dare I say, commercialized, like Sinners 2,
I
Sinners,
don't.
not 1854 or sort of thing? Like,
Yeah, you're right. Like, it's a real two-edged sword for me because I just really enjoy these characters, right? Like, I kind of want to see the Bonnie and Clyde, Michael B. Jordan and Haley, what's her face, like them, living in the 80s, and what are they like? Like, what's their life like?
Vampire havoc, like throughout the
Yeah, like what are they like? I want to see. Like, I'd be keen. Like, I'm interested in Smokestack, but then the other part of me is like, if you can do this with an original concept, let him do another original concept. Like, we don't necessarily need those stories. The fact that this movie makes me want those stories is a testament to this movie, not necessarily, a reason to go and make sequels and prequels and everything else.
for sure.
Do werewolves next. I'll do a take on werewolves.
Sinners, werewolves.
Sinners,
goblins.
Werewolves.
Sinners, dragons. Yeah.
Or give me a Sinners crossover with Twilight, like the two sexy vampire movies. Like have them cross over. But like I don't know if I want a Sinners cinematic universe or anything like that. But coming out of it, my main thing was I just wanted to watch this movie again. Like straight up, I was just like, I can't wait to watch this movie again and just be, I don't know, in that world again. Like, as messed up as that world can be, it was just like, it felt like you're part of that night. Like, whoa, what a night that was. Like, we saw the whole day, really, it's over 24 hours this movie takes place. And it just, you walk out of there being like, oh man, I'm glad the sun has risen now, but like that was a crazy night. Like,
hell of a night, yeah.
What he says in the post credits, where it's like, as fucked up as that was, probably the best night of my life. I came out of that being like, yeah, that was pretty damn great, So, yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, like again with the trailer, the trailer sells this movie as just as like From Dusk Till Dawn in Louisiana.
Mhm.
Like goes to have a party, everything goes wrong, and I was expecting that, but. Yeah, more like that is almost an afterthought in so many ways. Like that's the framework for it. But the whole like fun and the point of the movie is just having a blast with these great characters. It is like the party. It's like that's why you follow them around, meeting up all the characters. It's like back in high school when you're going around talking to all your friends, like, "Hey, we hanging out? We doing this tonight? Yeah, cool. All right." You're making the plans, and then when they get to the juke joint, it is so much just like you are there at a party. Like you are just following these characters seamlessly around. You are hearing their fun conversations. You're dealing with the little problems that come up. Like, there's a card game that goes wrong, so someone gets injured.
yeah,
And it's like, and again, like I keep bringing it up, but like they're just like sexy people doing sexy things, just having great fun. It's like, it feels like a party in the movies. Like you're at a party, and like that's incredible to be able to sort of capture that feeling. I'm just not just like, oh, I care about these characters, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But actually being like, no, I'm having fun actively with them. I'm in the dance. I'm partaking in the music. And so then when it does all go wrong, you're like, I feel like I'm being attacked by a vampire here.
yeah,
Because I'm
like,
one of this crew.
we're defending, like hoping that they don't they don't come in, or nobody invites them in, which is another thing I love. I just love the vampire tropes of they need to have permission to come into the room first. Like it's so entertaining, and it's something you don't really see in other movies or anything like that. But it's just, I don't know, it's so well done. I really enjoy it.
A lot of those classic monsters kind of got that overhaul over the years, right? Like, how can we be clever about this? How can we change up the formula? But I appreciate that this movie goes back to them hating garlic, and you got to stake them through the heart to kill them, and they have to be invited in. Like all that's good stuff, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, interestingly though, like the biblical stuff is not part of it. Like traditionally, right, vampires are also allergic to the Bible, and like a
Hmm.
crucifix burns them. That doesn't really seem to have that doesn't play the role here. Like the Christian stuff in this is kind of weird because they follow all these other tropes,
Yep.
but then that doesn't seem to like yeah, the Christian element doesn't sort of come in. This movie's I don't know if it's critical of faith or spirituality, but it's definitely not like it's definitely skeptical of it,
Hmm.
Not
and it's
advocating.
definitely yeah, it's not advocating it. Like it's probably if anything dismissing it, but like by not choosing to have Christianity or like biblical iconography as like the silver bullet, right? There's no like bring out the crucifix and the
Yep.
vampires are beaten. It's a really I don't know. It's a very interesting choice to be like we will stick to some rules but not stick to others.
Well, I think he played on like the voodoo more, right? Like that was the protection that he had at the end.
Necklace,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, and like
Yeah,
Christianity comes up in this a bit, right? Like there's even the comment that Jack O'Connor, like the vampire makes about how like he was alive when Christians took over Ireland and got rid of his culture. Like there's some interesting allusions to Christianity and yeah.
that's the
But
thing, right? Like it's sorry, continue.
no, I was going to say like you're right. They don't typically you then use the cross and that's your savior, but not in this case.
Yeah, because that becomes like the fallback of you do that and you win. Whereas in this, yeah, he's much more interested in that being a not a yeah. It's not like he doesn't demonize it strictly, but he is like this is another aspect of life that is complicated, I guess, for black people in the 30s and black people today. Like a religion that's been forced upon them and is
Mm,
kind of mixed together, and it's where so much that his own father and a huge group of his community are staunch believers, and like that provides them meaning and satisfaction and whatever. But it's also like you say, it's kind of this weird. It's also kind of like the same problem that Remick is like. The whole vampirism as assimilation thing
mm,
is a big part of this. Like
yep.
cultures getting assimilated into one thing and becoming almost a hive mind. And like yeah, Christianity sort of being part of that. Of like, it's not bad necessarily, but they're like it is a product of that at least. And like you assimilate and you lose your identity in this religion.
Yep.
And that's just such an interesting take on it that again, like I has never really been explored, I don't think, in vampire movies. But like speaks so much to the black experience. As far
Mm.
as I know, I'm not a black person, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really like really interesting choice and like a very conscious choice. It's not half-assed. He's like, no, he's saying something with it. Does it all strictly work? I don't know, but he's got a point of view and a perspective, which is awesome.
Mm.
Um, Jack Jack O'Connell, who plays the lead vampire dude, I think he's great. He's really good. I think this is a standout like performance. Apparently, he's an important character in 28 Years Later coming up, so I'm keen to
Mm.
see him in that again. But
Yeah,
I sort of touched on the same thing as all the other characters, but just so much charisma. Like you kind of get enthralled of him talking, and like you buy into it, sort of thing. You can kind of get the pitch really. Like it kind of sounds like, oh yeah, no, we'll all be united. They all seem happy singing, their Irish jig music and stuff like that, and dancing
yeah,
by the fire. It's really good, but the whole final showdown thing is also once it hits that point, and the lady says, "Come on in, you motherfuckers," and they all come in. It's just like from there, it's just a, such a like an entertaining joyride as well of just violence, action, just chaos. She's stabbing him with the wooden stake and burning alive at the same time, but just making sure she's killing him. It's like,
Mm.
yeah,
oh, like balls to the wall. It's it's
yeah.
it's so good.
Just goes really wrong really fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, real fast. After a lot of build up, but then all of it just boom blows
yeah.
up.
Yeah, I love that it is like it then just leans into the schlockiness of it as well. Like there is this blood spraying out of everywhere and the stakes
Yeah.
in the heart. It's like got that almost hammy like 70s practical blood effect. It's not trying to
Mm.
be super realistic. It's just like it's spraying everywhere and there's just it's just a mess. It's like fuck yeah. So there's also like that's part of the fun, Again, this movie's a party. Like part of this party is killing vampires and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It never gets for a movie that is really serious and does a really good job, like dealing with serious issues with all the characters and their backstory and the weight they have. Like, there's a lot of monologues and um, obviously you learn about one of the brothers. You learn about he's lost a baby,
Hmm.
and then the who's the harmonica, the older one, Delroy Lindo's character.
Delta Slim.
Delta Slim, yeah. Like he has that great speech in the car about how him and a friend made a lot of money playing music, and then he just got lynched because he's black. It's like this movie really
looked at someone the wrong way.
Yeah, really delves into a lot of the horrible shit, but then is also like, no, this is fun though. Like, this is how I'm telling this movie in a way that is kind of like a chaotic, fun, like horror story. It's it's a hard thing to do to like tick all those boxes and get all those tones right and balance them. But he totally pulls it off.
Yep. Yeah, what did you guys think about the end? I kind of appreciated the catharsis of him, setting up with all his machine guns and just mowing down the KKK, and then...
What a delight after that chaos to then be like, oh, cool, we get to have this now. Like, it was like an extra scene that you get before the movie wraps up.
Yep.
It's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of endings. I think there's a lot of endings.
Yes.
But it is so
earns
good,
them though. Like some movies do this and don't, and I appreciated it here because this movie could have ended at the end of the night, basically, right?
Yeah,
totally. But it's like it fits the thematic. You're right. It's like, what's the real monster here? Is it the vampires, or there are other vampires as well? It's called human beings. Like they're monsters as well.
Yeah.
And so to have just like you thought that was bad. Here's these guys. It's just amazing. Just like throws the grenade in the car. Love it.
Yeah.
And just like you got that that scene of Michael B like walking forward with a Tommy gun, just mowing them down.
Yes.
And it's like
just looks so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. His muscles are jiggling. He's in the singlet. He's sweaty. And it's like, this is the coolest person who has ever lived in this moment of time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I like the reveal too of him like trying to roll his own smoke, and he's got those shaky hands. He's got that PTSD from World War One, and that's why smoke always rolled him for him. Like a really touching ending for him, and then getting to hold his baby.
Like the first thing you see of them two is him rolling the smokes and handing it to him, and it's something you don't even really think about. Like there's a reason for that, until like the final scene with him, and it's it's so many little details in it, like throughout the movie. Haley Steinfeld is awesome. Is great as well. Just the little touch like of drooling. It's like, of course vampires are going to drool. Like I drool when there's like a steak in front of me. Of course these vampires are going to drool once they think they've got it in the bag, and they're about to feast. It's a great touch.
Yeah.
I think there's some new people with a drool fetish out there after this movie.
Like you're talking to one of them right now. Like holy moly! Like she's a freaking smoke show in this. It's crazy how they pull it off. Just again, like it's just interesting. Like movies recently have shied away from sex in movies. Like they've really become sort of it's a thing that it's always been reported Gen Z and Gen Alpha don't like it, don't want it in movies. And you can see it in movies more and more. They show away. They don't show it, or they don't like. Even kissing is becoming less common. Like there is a real push for like sex in movies seems to be less wanted. Whereas historically it's been a big part of movies, and like the erotic thriller was
especially
a whole
horror.
During
Horror's always had the.
Horror's always had it, but even in that, like, you think of like the exploitative horrors of the 2000s, where there's like just a lot of nudity for the sake of it. Like even that's kind of that's really been toned down now, and like. It's an interesting phenomenon. I'm not here to sort of say it's one way is right or one's not. It's just an interesting trend. And so to see a movie again come out, and it's like a big studio, almost tentpole movie. It feels like that is so overtly sexual. Like there's numerous sex scenes. There is numerous conversations about cunnilingus. It is explicit to some points. It's
it may only be 3 or 4 conversations, but it's still 3 or 4 more conversations than usual. So.
There is, most movies have 0, and like 3 or 4 is like 300% more than everything else. It's just, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing because it adds a real sort of, again, it adds like an authenticity and a realm of realism to it, where like these are all horny people who have been partying really hard and probably want to get laid, and we used to make movies about this called American Pie, and now here's a movie where it's like Preacher Boy.
There were no video games back then. How do you have fun? That's one of the
exactly
ways.
right. You just had intercourse.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I really liked seeing something new in that sense, and like this movie is trying to sort of do that and just be like, sexy vampires, and not just like Twilight vampires, like
Where there's sparkle, yeah.
vampires that are covered in blood and drinking your like tearing your neck
Yeah.
apart. It's like it works. Haley Steinfeld's in there like just eating people. I'm as turned on as the next man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole analysis to be had about the shying away from sex in cinema, and I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say it comes from we grew up with it in the in the 90s, the movies that didn't deserve a sex scene, right? Like was kind of just there for some reason, and I think this movie deserves it, right? Like this movie is sexy otherwise, and then why not, right? Like we're already all horned up. Let's finish the deed.
And it's necessary for so many of the points. Like,
it really does add to it in this movie. Like it really does. It's to its benefit in a way. It's not totally just added in for the sake of it. So yeah.
No. Feeds into like the whole seductive subtext of vampirism. It feeds into all the characters' motivations, like coming of age. Like it totally works. It's I know, it's so good. Like you guys gave this 5 stars on Letterboxd, right?
Of course we did.
That's a perfect rating. That is, you're saying that this movie is as close to perfect as you can get with a movie. So I'm so curious. So you guys truly think this is like that good?
But like my rebuttal would be, what could be done better in this movie?
What's the flaw in this
like
movie?
what is the flaw in this movie? Because for me, I want to use the whole scale on Letterboxd. I don't want 5 to be unattainable.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's my question. So you guys don't think anything's lacking? You're not like there was nothing where you're like, you thought everything worked for you guys?
Yeah.
This movie hit for me. Like I had a similar thing when I walked out of like after, and we touched on it like 2 podcasts ago. I watched Parasite, and after I watched it, I was like, man, that is a perfect movie. Like there wasn't a moment in that movie where I sat there, I was like, that wasn't done right, or this bit's a bit boring. Yeah. Like I was entertained from start to finish, and when I finished, I was like, man, that was a great movie. I want to talk to other people about that movie. I want to encourage people to go see that movie so they can have that experience as well, and I want to go watch it again. And to me, that's a 5-star film. Like I have no gripes, I have no flaws. It's a flawless movie.
Yeah, right on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't say it's flawless. Like I think like it doesn't fully tie together some of the like the racial stuff that is telling. Like it's it's clearly drawing comparisons between the Irish and like Black Americans, and these comparisons of like vampires, assimilation, all this. I don't know if it ties it all together. I don't know if there's a strict cohesive like this is what it's saying. I think there's a lot of ideas, and I don't know if they all end up getting properly answered or fulfilled.
But are you looking for that in a horror movie?
Yes.
If the horror movie is going to ask,
looking for the best.
If the horror movie is going to ask the question, right, it's almost its responsibility to at least give you its perspective or give you some sort of answer. I can appreciate that.
Exactly right. Yeah, and like I'm not trying to criticize this movie. Like I love this movie. Like I said, sorry, I like Luke over here. I would have give Letterboxd. No, I would have give Sinners 5 stars twice if I could.
I have. I went back in and reviewed it again just to make sure everyone saw 5 stars.
I'm really not trying to criticize or be like, oh no, actually this isn't so good, because it's not that kind of movie. This is a movie that I'm like, everyone should see. I want to see it again on IMAX, on anything else. I won't get a chance, but I would love to. Can't wait to buy it on 4K and like rewatch it again. But and that's not even a bad thing. It's just like, there are some things that it doesn't fully get right, and that's normal and fine. It doesn't. This movie still earns like more praise than some 5-star movies in a way, because it's just like, holy shit, the things it does are crazy. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I think the difference between 4.5 and 5 stars is not that great, right? Like it's. Yeah.
No, you're right. But like,
I don't think you're a lesser person for not rating it 5 stars.
5 stars from Griner.
I mean, Conan, if this movie gave you a drool fetish, if that's not worth 5 stars, then what is?
No, like seeing Haley Steinfeld in this movie is worth 10 stars. Like, just I've got to really confront some stuff in my life. Seeing that, it's true.
Go back and watch Twilight now. See if you have a different perspective of it.
No.
I think we should watch Pitch Perfect. We should let's just do a Haley Steinfeld trilogy.
Let's do every movie. Oh boy, I'm there. I'm there for it.
All right. Is there anything else we need to discuss? I like the introduction to the vampires where he's trying to get into the home and he sees their KKK and he kind of is like, yeah, I'm in. And then the Native Americans come and warn them and they're like, sun's going down. Sorry, we're out.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Great little moment of like, you're scared for the farmers because you know he's going to kill them. And then you see the KKK. It's like, oh, great, he's going to kill them. It's just like a complete 180. It's
yeah.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Like, I was really interested in those. As soon as you see the Indians rock up, you're like, oh, cool. Okay, there is like this group of vampire hunting Native Americans. That is dope because there's another part of like American culture and folklore kind of blending into this world. And I'm like, I really want to see more of that. And he doesn't do anything else with that, which I was also kind of like, I don't know. I'm almost like, should you cut that entirely or should you give me at least one or two more scenes? I don't know. It does feel a little bit like, here's a great idea, but I'm doing nothing with it. And yeah,
to me, that's another one of those hooks, right? That's another one of those hooks where it's like, this could be another movie. Like we could get another movie about the Native American vampire hunters. But
you want that. You want to come out of a movie being like, oh man, it'd be cool to have another movie about that thing. Or like you want that world to be as interesting as possible without opening up and telling you everything about every world that exists in that world.
Well, sure, but like you can still do that and have like better flesh stuff out. You can still do 2 or 3 scenes and be like, I want to know so much more, but they've served their purpose perfectly. Versus one scene, like there's a difference.
But so, Conan, not to do like a deep dive down your letterbox history, but like if Ace Ventura is 5 stars,
Fuck yeah, yes.
I know think Sinners is just 5 stars as well, you know?
Oh look, there's some nostalgia there that I won't quibble with. But
I think there's a bonus episode in like litigating our letterbox histories. Maybe we should write that down somewhere.
Absolutely, defending our 5 stars choices.
I think when a movie makes you laugh for 90 minutes straight with no break, that's like
Dynamite is 5 stars as well.
Yes, that movie defined comedy for the next 20 years. What are you talking about? And if this movie goes on to define, if this movie goes on to define movies for the next 20 years, I'll come back and change it to 5 stars for you.
Okay, fair enough.
Like that's the nature of ratings. In the moment, you're assessing it for everything it is right then, and in 10 years, when it's like, oh, that was the most important movie of the decade, it kind of polishes it a little bit more. Or you come back and like, oh, this wasn't as exciting as it was when I saw it in that exact moment in time. So
if movies for the next decade have people spitting in each other's mouths during intercourse, we'll know that this movie is worth 5 stars.
I can only get so far
for the next 10 years.
You can't do this to me. I'll have to get a divorce.
All right, boys. That was Sinners. Quick programming note. We were going to do episodes about The Last of Us. We decided, I don't know, there's some jokes here we could make about people's opinions of certain actresses, but we'll just say we don't think there's enough there for us to cover that every week for the next 4 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to hear our opinions on the first season, there is another channel. I don't know what it's called anymore, but it was Bonus XP, and you could watch our review of that there. We will do a recap of The Last of Us season 2, I think, once it's done. We'll go over the whole thing. Instead, for the next few weeks, we're going to be covering Mission Impossible, leading up to, what's the newest movie called? I haven't looked it up.
The Final Reckoning?
Final Reckoning. So leading up to that movie, we're going to be doing the 7 previous movies. So this first fortnight's the first 3, Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3. I don't think they have any special subtitles, do they?
No.
Makes it easy for me. All right, cool. So that's our next fortnight. First 3 Mission Impossibles. That's your homework. Yeah.
Tom Cruise, baby. 8 movies of Tom Cruise. Here we go. What a ride.
Man, I've been deep diving on Scientology lately for some weird reason, so I'm keen to watch some Tom Cruise movies. I don't know why.
Get ready.
That might be another discussion off air, but
deep Scientology exposition in their movies.
All right, thanks for joining us for the good, the bad, and the worst. This podcast was brought to you by Conan's Books. God Grotesque and The Taste of Iron. They're great. Catch them
Got
on
Sinners
Amazon.
energy.
It does have a bit of Sinners energy.
Spitting, drooling, all of it.
If the next book doesn't have somebody spitting in somebody else's mouth,
He wrote it in
something
there the
lacking
day
somewhere.
he got home. He went home and was like,
It's
I'm
so funny
taking out
because-
this chapter and putting it in.
Oh, yeah. I missed half this movie because I was out the back just scribbling notes, like spitting in vampires' mouth. Going, sex.
Thanks for joining us. Rate us on Spotify and iTunes. It helps us out greatly, and we'll catch you next fortnight.